So I've actually got an idea this time of what is going to happen. So it's like unexpected because I've been focusing too much on these. So I thought I'd give some other people some like attention, yeah. And it's going to start over here, and this unsuspecting little fellow. And they want to distance themselves from the culture of their surrounding. It's getting nice, like a royal blue. Ooh, that's lovely. So they want to distance themselves from like their surrounding cultures, and they want to define themselves on the map, and not just be like assimilated with these two. So they declare their own. Lovely. Hold on. So they get their own culture in there. They declare themselves different from everyone, and now they're their own little thing. Um, but just after that happened, these guys are going on an absolute rampage again, and they come after these guys, underestimating them a bit. Because these guys actually have lots of resources, lots of people living here throughout history, and they've got very smart general staff. Or specifically one man who we can't call him anything because we don't know what language they speak. But overall, they underestimate him. They don't get outstanding victories. These guys are a very big army. These guys do. So he's pushing back slightly, But it's been a propaganda victory to get their population to rally under this new national identity, and they get into a sign of peace at this. And they just annex this directly into them. I'll make it a bit bigger. There we go. And now they're like pretty defined in the world border. Now over here in this area, this religious groups from over here fled down here, and they don't get enough representation up here anymore because these guys call themselves the Holy Land. They don't care for their own representation of it, which used to be here. So they kind of kick off down here, which had some claim to throughout history. And in the north, they start a pretty big civil war. This is probably really disjointed, I forgot how to speak, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so they kick off up here, which distracts these guys long enough for these guys who are trying to rally support, because they're kind of falling to bits, to declare war on these and just move in, try to get some support to show they're still like a power. But these guys take advantage of this and just, blindside them essentially, break the treaty they had. Well, I think they're non-aggression pact in my head or something. Don't remember if I said that or not. They just walk into them, and these guys want a piece of the pie, as they say. So they try and do some maneuvers like that as well. And these guys at this point are just falling to absolute smithereens. Another government breaks off here in like a civil war kind of. Well, not really a civil war. They declare themselves independent. Another empire falling to bits, unfortunately. These guys are good as well. Hey, oh, that's a bit too far. So yeah, like the southern mountains areas declare themselves independent. They pull back out of here. These guys don't walk into there, so they've got their own problems because these guys now encroaching in their land. And these guys also not wanting to make too many enemies, gladly pull out of here. Which these guys are happy about. In the end, the civil war becomes too costly for them to maintain, or for both sides to hold up. So they sign like a very not well-written peace that neither side really care for. So that's a very unstable one. That's going to kick off any second, probably again. And these guys don't want to push anymore. They don't want to overextend, so they call that a day there and take what they get. Which is only bitter land, but it's better than nothing. And these green guys here have almost formed a less stable version of a different religion of what used to be the red guys. So that's pretty cool. 5 minutes already. If I'd not take 5 minutes. Huh. Might be a longer one. Okay, it's a lot of speaking for my brain. These guys pretty much just sweep in to finish them off. What on earth? Oh, I don't know. I'm very tired. Bear with me. Yeah. And then just like kind of walk through. Bad day for them. There's some river here they stop at. And then they call back the borders. And leave these guys to, well, suffer because they have no support anymore for their own government. They're kind of falling to bits. So that's not very good for them. But these guys are also getting very unstable, so they've got loads of different occupation areas. And these guys are just in a alliance by themselves from decades ago, apparently. Scared of that. So that's unfortunate for them. And these guys finally make a move to finish off the old capital, which goes unopposed. And this island declares themselves independent from the red guys because they're not getting enough funding for them. Which might get swept up or not, it's no point owning it really. So these green guys for now are pretty powerful themselves. Over here, back onto the new area, these pink guys start expansion again. So these yellow guys were almost bankrupt. So what did these fellas do? They invite them to their little alliance of sorts. How do I make this like... Okay, so if it's like that, it's a puppet government. If it's like that, it's an alliance. Because I'm not very consistent with this. Okay, so that's a puppet government. Oh, that's a nice colour actually. Anyways, this was a puppet government. That's just made clear now. And that's their alliance. Cool. So they start funding them in return for an alliance, which they gladly accept. Is that the same colour? Yeah, it's just like the background. Anyways, yeah. So they begin funding their expansion into the New World. And over a span of a few decades, this is happening at the same time as this over here. So over a span of a few decades, they get pretty far. And why didn't the purple guys do it, you say? Like, just do it themselves, because they got their own issues up here. And they can't waste their time over here if someone else can do it for them. And there you go. So that's their separate colony to this. More of their land's been taken away from them. Very unfortunate times. Oh my goodness, I can't see if it's still recording or not, because this guy. Please. 8 minutes. And the same thing happens with these guys. And they kind of like spread out a little bit. I'm gonna say a little bit, I mean over like 20 years they kind of just assimilated all this until they hit a river line. And then they added this to the old colony instead of setting up a different one. They all kind of organise it into one government. You know, they're technically a New World government, so they've lost all their areas over here. Down here, this colony failed because it's just nowhere near what they've got going on. And at the same time this is happening, the green guys here find weapons from here. They take it down here, and what they do is they begin raiding in the south this pink guy, because they're obviously not doing too much to defend the continent. So they start beating them back a lot, and that's about how far they get. And as this colony also dies out, they figured out boats and they took it. So these green guys are getting a bit expansive now. These guys still kind of by themselves up here, but volcanic activity has, yeah, we've got time for it. Volcanic activity has been happening, and a new landmass has arrived out of the ocean, because that's how volcanoes work. I forgot how it does it. That looks terrible. Just make out Fortnite Island kind of shape. spawn island. Cool. So yeah, just want to give these guys something to do, and then they find this land, and then they take it. So now they're a bit bigger, lots of resources up here, lots of resources them to have, and they're pretty big now. So yeah, that's the end of that for one day. I've got to save that before I forget. Thank you. Goodbye.